Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing the restricted guide series with Zacian-Crowned. Zacian-Crowned is a very hyped up Pokemon, being able to be insanely strong. I mean, look at these stats. They're incredible across the board. An amazing typing of Fairy Steel, a great ability, and a move that does double damage against any Dynamaxed Pokemon. I think that's enough. Like, that is so many valid points to make this Pokemon such a strong restricted Pokemon. Like, this is a really good restricted pick for a team. Anyway, let's talk about it. So, Zacian-Crowned Fairy Steel typing is an insane typing. Only 2 weaknesses of Fire Ground, while also giving 2 immunities and 9 resistances. Across the board, just such an amazing typing. It's also a great typing offensively as well, with Fairy Steel being able to do really good stab damage to a huge piece of the meta. It's just so good. Intrepid Sword is its ability. It boosts its attack stat by 1 every time it enters battle, or only once when it enters the battle. But when it first enters the battle, it gets a +1 in attack, which is unbelievable. It's just so good. It means it negates Intimidate if it's up against an Intimidate Pokemon, or it's like just +1 strength. Like, it's crazy. It does so much more damage from that +1 that's just like, it's so free. As far as the stats go, very good across the board. HP at 92 is okay, it's about average, but 115 in defense and special defense makes this a really well-rounded, bulky Pokemon that is just so good. As far as the offense stats go, and look at this, they speak for itself. 170 in attack. Get out of here. This is Kartana stats, which is the strongest Pokemon. They just do so much damage. Like, its attack stat is insane. It's just so much damage. And then as far as the speed goes, at 148, base 148, this thing's as fast as Regieleki when it's without speed. So you are the same at max speed as Regieleki with 0 speed, which is a feat. It's not something that sounds, I guess it sounds pretty bad, because it's like, hey, this guy's as fast as the slowest form of this other guy, but the other guy's the fastest guy. So yeah, it's good. It's very fast. So yeah, if you're looking for a very fast, strong sweeper, this is a good one. Although, unfortunately, Zacian cannot Dynamax, so keep that in mind. Anyway, that's it for the overview. Let's go ahead and talk about the moveset that I have prepared. So actually today I only have one moveset for this guy. It's just what I feel like is right. You can change it up a little bit, but there's not really much changing here, because this is really what you want to do. You have to give it the Rusted Sword item to change it into Zacian-Crowned, which is a very fair thing to have to use its held item slot to make it this incredibly overpowered restricted Pokemon. So it's very fair that Rusted Sword has to be there. But that's why I don't have any items on the screen. Other than that, it's not really a customizable set. You have to use Rusted Sword. Intrepid Sword is also its only ability, but you wouldn't change it probably. Probably. That's just such a good... it's just such a good ability. And then as far as the moves go, I went in Behemoth Blade, Play Rough, Close Combat, and Protect. I thought all of those were really solid. You can definitely change it up and go for different coverage if you want to, but this is very solid and will get the job done. Also, by the way, Behemoth Blade is insane. Double damage to Dynamax Pokemon. Like, if you plug it into a damage calc and you click Dynamax, it still has the same amount of damage because it doubles their HP, but it also doubles Behemoth Blade damage. It's crazy. It's so much damage. Play Rough for stab, Close Combat for coverage, and Protect because the boy likes to put up a shield every now and again, even though he's the sword guy. Anyway, there are a couple of moves here that we can change around, but let's talk about the EV spread real quick. So first off, I just gave it attack 252 and speed 252, and then the leftover 4 in HP, and then Jolly Nature just to be as fast as possible while not losing any damage. I think that's very fair, and that's pretty much what most Zacian-Crowned are going to be. Maybe you can invest a little bit into bulk. It is a steel Pokemon with pretty solid bulk, so you could go into bulk, but it can't be Dynamaxed, so it can't get that huge boost of bulk out of nowhere. So, you would have to use a lot of investment, and I feel like speed is needed, and why not just make it an attack man and just go all into attack and speed? That's kind of how I feel. So, that's my opinion. Anyway, let's talk about the customization of this of Zacian. Customization. Crowned. Okay. Anyway, so Sacred Sword is a cool attack that you can use instead of the close combat. So that is cool. Like for the same, type coverage, you do have another option. So that's good. It gets by stat increases. So if your opponent is like, super max steel spiking up, you can get through it with Sacred Sword, which is very good. Then we have Wild Charge. Wild Charge is, once again, a very good coverage move. Ice Fang is good, especially for, like, Lando, and Ground-type Pokemon are really big right now. Groudon as well. So Ice Fang is very solid. We have Crunch, Psychic Fangs for breaking screens, Solar Blade for coverage. A lot of good coverage, physical attacking coverage moves, so that is good. Then two moves that aren't attacks. We have Substitute and Swords Dance. I actually played this Pokemon in the Battle of Legends tournament, whatever thing that happened in Series 5, and the Swords Dance set was good. I liked it. I paired it next to a Whimsicott, and it was nice. Anyway, that's about it for the moveset. I don't really have much more for the build. So let's talk about these two synergetic Pokemon in the bottom right corner and then move on. So first off, I do have Tornadus listed. Tornadus is really, really good for this Pokemon. Obviously, Zacian being able to get Tailwind, Zacian supplemented by Tailwind, makes this thing incredibly fast, and it also does a huge amount of damage. So why not have a priority Tailwind user right next to it? Sounds good to me. Also, you can taunt with the Pokemon into a Trick Room Pokemon so they can't Trick Room. Sounds good to me. Next, we have the Lapras. I think Lapras actually works really well. So, Lapras is a kind of weird pick because it doesn't seem like it's that strong in the format, but I think it is really good in the format, actually. So, I'm pretty excited to use Lapras a little bit, and I think Lapras Zacian is very, very strong. Zacian behind screens would love to be behind screens, and then also Lapras gets the screens for free. Cool. And also, it obliterates both of its weaknesses of fire and ground, so it works really well. I think it's a very good synergy and definitely something that would like to be next to Zacian. That's cool. Anyway, that is it for this slide. Let's talk about some speed tiers. So, like I said, 220 is very, very fast. 220 is max speed for Zacian-Crowned. Outspeeding a lot of really good Pokemon like Dragapult, Dracovish, Crobat, Mewtwo, Tapu Koko, Whimsicott, Thundurus, all those Pokemon in that 100 to 200 range, and under 100, but obviously. But outspeeding all these really good Pokemon, things like Kartana, we have Nihilego, the Garchomp, Xerneas, Yveltal, before their, Geomancy or Tailwind scenarios, Groudon, and Kyogre if they're not Scarfed. So a lot of good Pokemon are being outsped by this guy, which is really good. And like I said, it's on the same speed tier as Regieleki if it has zero investment into speed, which a lot of people are doing. They'll be investing in, special attack and then bulk for a screen set. I'd say it's probably less than 50% doing that, so Regieleki will most likely be outspeeding Zacian-Crowned, but still, it's a cool thing to note. Being outsped by a couple of Pokemon, though, we do have Pheromosa. Of course, naturally, Pheromosa is very incredibly fast. Kyogre, Groudon at Scarf, Lando T at Scarf. All the Weathermons, in their respective weather, that will be going up. Ludicolo, Kingdra, as well as the Venusaur. All of these Pokemon are in that 240 to 280 range. Excadrill, all of them are going to be outspeeding Zacian-Crowned in their respective weathers, which is interesting to note. Next, we have Xerneas and Yveltal in their Geomancy / Tailwind state. They will also be outspeeding Zacian-Crowned, so good to note. Anyway, that is it for speed tiers. Let's talk about some damage calcs. So for the first, or actually, they're just mixed, so we'll just talk about them. So 252 attack Zacian-Crowned Behemoth Blade into 4 HP Dynamax Xerneas, hitting 107.9 to 127.7, which is a guaranteed OHKO. Note that this is without Intrepid Sword +1, so this is even if you got intimidated, you're still able to take this OHKO on a Dynamaxing Xerneas, which is very, very good to know. Next, we have +1, 252 attack Zacian-Crowned Ice Fang. This is including the Intrepid Sword +1, so that into a 252 HP Groudon non-Dynamax is hitting 49.2 to 58.9, which is a 98.8% chance to OHKO or to 2-hit KO. So that's a good calc. Now, obviously, Groudon will be maxing a lot, but its defense is just naturally incredible. So yeah, Zacian has a lot of ground to make up, pun intended, because it's a ground type. Oh man, that was a funny one. Anyway, 252 plus special or physical attacking Groudon Precipitous Blades into the 0 HP. That should be 4. Zacian-Crowned hitting 100.5 to 118.5. Notably, that was actually almost really relevant that I forgot that 4 HP because it hits 100.5 to 118. And typically you'll get 0.5 for each 4 investment or 4 or after 8 after it. So yeah, it's just always guaranteed OHKOing with Precipitous Blades, so that's, you know, something to note. Next we have +1, 252 attacking Zacian-Crowned Helping Hand, boosted with Behemoth Blade into a 244 HP, 100 plus defense Tapu Fini, which is currently the most used on Pikalytics, hitting 98.8 to 116.4, which is an 87.5 chance to OHKO. That's a lot of damage, however it is not guaranteed, so it will still be a roll. Next, we have 252 attacking Zacian-Crowned Ice Fang. Oh, and by the way, the Tapu Fini was with Intrepid Sword +1, just so you know. Next, we have 252 attacking Zacian-Crowned Ice Fang into 4 HP, 0 defense Land OT, hitting 121 to 143 guaranteed OHKO, which is very good, and that is with Intrepid Sword, but also being intimidated, so neutral. Just noting. Next, we have 252 plus special attack Life Orb Venusaur Max Quake into our 4 HP Zacian-Crowned, hitting 94.6 to 111.3, hitting 62.5% chance to OHKO. It is still a roll. It is still over 50%, so it's still not something I would want to be up against, but you can live it, which is good. That is it for the damage calcs. Let's talk about single spotlight real quick before I end the video. So it is going to be very, very similar, but instead of protect, we are switching that over to Swords Dance. And yeah, it's very, very similar. Rusted Sword not going to change, Intrepid Sword not going to change, but we are using Behemoth Blade, Play Rough, Close Combat, and Swords Dance. So very, very almost identical to the doubles build, the VGC build. Not a lot is going to change with this Pokemon. I mean, obviously you can change a couple of those moves if you want to go Wild Charge, if you want to go for Solar Blade, any of these options, you can use them. So depending on your team comp, you might want to do that. As far as the EV spread goes, it's just very basic, 252 plus attack, and then 252 into speed. This is Adamant Nature. I'd probably change it to Jolly Nature, honestly, like looking back at this. It's probably not a bad idea, and after a Swords Dance, like, you're killing everything. So, yeah, I'd probably go Jolly. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Makes a huge difference. Go down into the description and click on all those links and follow all those things to support the channel further than YouTube. I would appreciate it. I hope you have a good week. Zacian is very, very good. Test it out in the restricted format. It's going to be crazy. You'll probably be like, wow, this is pretty good. All right, goodbye.